Okay. All right. This will probably be the last video on unconditional love. I don't know because it really is a vast subject, and you can really go through every part of your life and reorganize it again based off of the understanding of unconditional love. But I don't want anybody to do that based off of a head understanding. That's not what I want you to do. When it becomes embodied, when you embody it, because you can do, and that's usually that's the ground that Jesus talks about that receives the seed and it springs up very fast. The person, they receive the word with joy because they understand it, they hear it, it makes sense to them, and they know that it's life. So they take it, they receive it, and they instantly want to put it into practice. But what happens is tribulation comes and the thing withers because it had no depth of root. What that means is somebody can receive something with head knowledge and you expect it to change who you actually are, but it doesn't change who you actually are. It's something that you're supposed to then, it's a tool or a weapon that you could say it's like a tool or a weapon. I prefer tool because it's not a war. So you can take this tool and then you can then use it in the next situation when the time comes. You don't expect the revelation to necessarily make you change. You expect it to change your awareness, what you're aware of. So when your awareness spreads, what you can see spreads. So when you see the situations now, because of your awareness, everything changes. The situation that you're looking at isn't, you don't see it the same anymore. So the same way how before Adam was naked, then he ate from the tree, then he realized he was naked. So it's like yesterday you didn't know that you got on so and so's nerves. Now they tell you. Now you know you get on so and so's nerves. Now you walk around them on eggshells, pretending to be a person that doesn't get on their nerves. When in actuality, you're still the person that gets on their nerves, pretending like you aren't. So you don't actually change. And then one day, all that pretending, that burden that you're wearing on your back is going to be too heavy for you to keep it up, and then you're going to snap out in a person or yada yada, something will happen. So instead, what you do is you receive the revelation and you allow it to enlighten you on how things look. Then you wait for tribulation to come because now this is an opportunity for you to feel or be aware and then make a decision. So now you're aware because you received the revelation on what is not the way it should be. Oh, okay, now I know how to get what I want on this end. Or, oh, now I know why this hasn't been working and you expect everything to change like this. That's that seed that springs up but has no root. The way you develop roots, the roots are neural pathways. They are the neurons, those gang of little dangly things that connect to each other. That looks just like a root system. That's the roots. Those are the roots of the person that you are. The same way this brain is like the seed on your spinal cord, and it has those things on it. It's the exact same thing. The person that you are is enrooted in your neurons. So in order to become the person of the revelation you've just seen, the you that you know that you could be based off the revelation that you've just received, instead of taking that and pretending, you allow yourself to develop roots by going through experiences and then acting like the person taking the actions, even though you don't feel like taking the actions. Not pretending like everything's okay, but being the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like you realize you're a fuck up, be the fuck up until you are no longer the fuck up. Now you have a revelation that you're a fuck up. So instead of you walking around naked and not knowing that you're naked, now you can go put on some clothes. You know what I'm saying? Not let's say not cover up the nakedness, but do something about the nakedness. Change the nakedness. But you know how to now. And instead of you putting on fig leaves or hiding or casting blame or hiding from God, you go before God and say, "Oh, now I'm naked and you love me this entire time. So I'm going to look at me the way you look at me." So that doesn't cause me to put on any fig leaves or try to pretend like I'm something that I'm not. I can just continue to go because I know that he who began a good work in me shall complete it. He'll see it to the end. And the reason you gave me this revelation is because there's an end to this. You are the Aleph and the Tav, the beginning and the last. You are the ox going towards the mark. You are the ox and you are the mark. You are the me here and you are the me there. So if you've given me this revelation, then I know that you also going to give me the ability to complete it, no matter what I do. So I don't have to change. the revelation will allow me to see things differently. So when I get into experiences that I used to act one way on, I'll change. You see what I'm saying? So it's like before I didn't know I was an asshole. Now when I get into a situation where I would normally be an asshole, I don't want to be an asshole. Or when I'm an asshole, I feel bad about it now. You see what I'm saying? And that's the change. So now the next situation, when I get into another situation where I could be an asshole, though I feel like being an asshole, why would I want myself to feel horrible about myself afterwards? Or why would I still want to be that person when I know that there's greater? So in this instance, it's not logical for me to be an asshole. So I make a different decision. And guess what? That's recorded in my brain. And the neurons change because I fired different neurons this time. I didn't fire the same sequence. So the ones that I normally would fire are starting to break away. In other words, you're forgetting the person that you used to be, but the person that you want to be, now that you're taking up, making his type of decisions when those times come, you're starting to uh, remember your neurons into a different set of basically what they're called as memories. So you become a different person based on memory. You know what I mean? Like you're changing the person that you are on in the roots. So you're building roots so that the next time you're building roots. So the next time you get to that situation, the you that is already enrooted in you will take over in that situation too. You're like, man, huh? Either it's like you grow more. It's like, man, last time it was really hard for me not to be an asshole, but this time I see that this person is just antagonizing. You know what I'm saying? It starts to change. And then you're like, wow, I can't believe I used to feed into that bullshit. I feel bad for them that they're still going through it. You see what I'm saying? And it's like it just changes. And that's how you actually become the person that you're going to change it. So yeah, that's what unconditional love allows you to do too when you love yourself. So I got 3 minutes and I want to tell this other story. All right, so when I started getting to this truth, it was a lot of stuff that I was afraid of. And, the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom, but I needed to move on. I didn't really understand that then, but then I found out later. So I needed to move on past that fear. And the last thing that I was holding on to was Jesus. I was learning about every other thing. I was willing to go into anything else to see if it was right or wrong, but I wouldn't go into Jesus. So then, uh, before I took that dive, one night I woke up and it'd been heavy on my mind. Of course, right? This is Jesus talking about the. At the time, this was my salvation that I was talking about. So I'm like, man, if this was all deception, this would be the last step. This would be the last step to removing my soul or my name from the book of life and me going to hell, right? So of course I had to take this serious. So I wake up in the middle of the night, and this as I would, as I would a lot when I was learning, like getting a lot of new revelations. So I woke up in the middle of the night, in the middle of a conversation, and basically I just asked God. I'm like, well, you see all the stuff that I'm learning, and a lot of it basically isn't going with what I normally learn. A lot of it is so out of the box of what is normally um, taken as Christianity or whatever. So how do I know? And I'm like, and the last thing I need to do is disprove Jesus. Not disprove Jesus, but I need to act as if I don't believe it. I need to cast it all out and pretend that I know nothing so that I can actually gain your truth. As opposed to taking people's prepackaged beliefs, handed down paradigms and doctrines, I'm gonna throw it all away as if I never knew anything and then relearn. I'm gonna look to disprove and I'm gonna look to prove. I'm gonna hear both sides out and see what the similarities are and the conflicts and all that stuff. And I was like, I was like, how do I know that you won't basically leave me forever? How do I know that I won't cross some line that I can't never come back from, that you won't accept me in this, from doing that? How do I know that you won't? How do I know that you'll always love me, basically? Like, how do I know that I'm safe in doing this? Because I would rather have truth than religion. And I would rather be wrong searching for truth than be right and safe, safe and right and wrong. I would rather be a sinner, and find truth. And this overwhelming feeling of literally unconditional love came on me. And I'll talk about it more in the next video, but it was basically like God was undisappointable. And that's exactly, it was as if he spoke to me through this emotion. Like it was as if he allowed me to feel how he felt. And it was as if he said, you could never disappoint me. You could never make me that angry. You know what I'm saying? Like you can never make me forsake you, basically. I'll always love you this way. I'll talk about it more in the next video.